Photography is a unique type of art form. Unlike many other arts, photography requires a basic understanding of science and the scientific mechanics of what happens inside a camera. Similar to cell phones, new cameras come out about every 6 months. And with these new cameras come an array of different add-ons. Add-ons such as different style lenses, technical formats, and software processing, as well as the technical aspects within the camera too. And any good photographer should know how to use all of these when taking a photo. Hi, my name is Chris Kent, and I will be talking to you about a problem that is plaguing photographers across the nation. And this is a basic lack of understanding of the scientific processes that happen within a camera and what happens when you take a photo. Like any good mechanic, a good photographer should know their camera inside and out. Unfortunately, many do not. More often than not, they could tell you what type of camera they have, whether it's a DSLR, a point and shoot, or even a film camera. And whether or not, if it's a film camera or a digital camera, they'd be able to tell you the processes behind creating a good photo and taking a good photo outside the camera. Daniel Robinson, the assistant director of the Institute of Visual Imaging at James Madison, offered in this 2014 spring semester an experimental class that is on the mechanics of a camera. In this class, he taught students what goes on inside a camera. A large project he had students take part of was to turning their regular digital camera into an infrared camera. This is a simple process in which you take a lens that blocks infrared rays from hitting the optical sensor inside the digital camera. And all you have to do is just remove this lens and your camera will then be able to take infrared photos. Well, Robinson thought this was a simple task, as he described himself as a natural tinkerer and grew up learning how to take radios apart and put them back together. He was dismayed to find out that many of his students could not actually perform this task. Many students could not take apart a camera, remove a lens inside the camera, and then put it back together and still have it function. He wondered why there was such a lack of knowledge that came into systems analysis of a camera. And this is a problem plaguing many photographers across the nation. They lack the basic scientific and mechanical operations that happen within a camera. Therefore, they're unable to take it apart, remove a lens, and put it back together. Robin was upset that he had students who lacked the understanding of a camera and were unable to put it back together again after they took it apart. He theorized that to solve this problem and to help his students gain an understanding of systems analysis, the next semester he offered this class, he would have an engineer come in from JMU's Department of Engineering and teach students about the fundamental engineering aspects of the camera. Such as how to take it apart and put it back together again. I agreed with him on this statement, but also offered that we should go farther than just having an engineer come in once in a while to talk about the science of a camera. I believe to become a better photographer, you have to become a smarter person in general, and you have to understand how a camera works. I feel that if students took basic rudimentary classes in physics, chemistry, and computer software, they would not only become smarter students, but also better photographers. Within the field of physics, students would be able to understand how they would be able to understand the fundamental laws of light, how light hits an object, how light interacts with an object, and how light would interact with the optical sensor inside a digital camera. Not only would they figure out that, but they'd be able to figure out the depth of field part of photography. As Robinson commented, saying many students do not know, in fact, how to actually work the depth of field. With computer software, the students would not only be able to know how to edit photos on computers better and use better software, they would be able to understand the computer inside the camera itself. You would be able to edit settings and possibly other aspects of the camera within the computer that is inside the camera. Chemistry, on the other hand, doesn't necessarily deal with the digital aspect of a camera, but rather the film aspect of a camera. Film, when processing it, requires silver nitrate and a darkroom, often as you see people using darkrooms to process photos. With the understanding of chemistry, students would be able to understand how silver nitrate interacts with a photo and does what it does. With this understanding, you'd be able to edit photos, create photos, and perhaps change and alter the actual photo itself, all with the use of chemicals and the knowledge they gained from chemistry class. To me, a smarter photographer is a better photographer. So with the gained knowledge of these classes, a photographer have a better understanding of the mechanics that are inside a camera. And perhaps with this gained knowledge, they'd be able to not only create an infrared camera, but perhaps modify the camera in other aspects to get other photos to get other photos from the camera itself. Whether it just be a physical change in the light the camera receives or an artistical point of view, these students would be able to see photos in a different light, to say.